where the aha moment is on this side of the business is when you see the people in the sales roles truly understand how these tools can help them close the business, how it puts more money in their pocket. Once you get to that point and you've gone far enough along in the journey that they can see the value of that, that's a huge benefit and a huge step forward in building that foundation and continually driving those processes.
So Bill, great to have you here in the office. You and I have had the opportunity to work together at your former company, but now your current company, Compass Systems and Sales, and you guys have been on quite the transformation journey and are seeing great success.
Appreciate it, James. Thanks for having me here as well. Yes, it's been good experience and working with you in the past. We've had some great successes. And I look forward to not only what we've done within Compass, what we can continue to do there.
Yeah, that's great. And why don't we share a little bit about what Compass Systems and Sales does?
Sure. Compass Systems and Sales builds equipment for the world's largest manufacturers around the globe.
Wow.
And typically it's a complete solution. So it's full turnkey and it's capital equipment. So markets we service have major names like Ford, like Toyota, Nissan, International Paper, Georgia-Pacific, BASF, Bayer. So pretty large companies, and they're typically in 24/7, 365 environments. So mission critical environments where the equipment that we manufacture for them has to have 99.9+% uptime within their processes. And has to have that full product offering from not only the product itself, but also the service and parts.
Yeah, and you've done a phenomenal job of really being able to build out that side of the business, and you know, the proof's in the pudding, right? I mean, you guys' growth suggests that you're doing a really good job over there.
We've had a great run, and it's been a team that's really been behind that. I think the most important thing, and one of the things that we talked about early on, and we brought the team into your company here to talk about, was really what is our strategic vision for the business? How do we get the group in the boat, rowing in the same cadence, and how do we manage that conversation and that communication with the private equity group to make sure that we're in alignment between the two groups, and then focus on the activities to drive that strategy forward and be successful with that.
Yeah, and that's a whole process in and of itself. But why don't you share a little bit about what that strategic discussion sounded like and some of the planning that went into it? Because you guys unearthed some really fascinating things out of that process, right?
Yeah, it was a great experience. I think for me, and also with the founder of the business, one of the aha moments was in dealing with you and your team, really challenging us about what is our vision for the business, what is our mission. And the more we talked about it, we are an engineered material handling solutions provider, but in all the markets we service, part of the messaging and part of our why that came out of that was we are truly helping our customers with sustainability. So when you look at whether it's a scrap segregation system, whether it's a trim removal system, what we're doing in all of these is we're helping them keep their uptime, we're helping them optimize their efficiency of their process, but also with that waste, we're working with them to better understand what they want to do with it.
So you guys have this strategy, you have this direction in place. Where did you go from there when it came to some of the value creation programs that you were looking to put together?
I think for us, and this is the one thing that we've talked about earlier, is challenging the strategy early on, or developing that strategy and getting everybody focused on it. But really taking a step back and saying, all right, where is our transformational journey from here to 3 to 5 years down the road? And from that, focusing on EBITDA, focusing on revenue improvements, revenue growth. And to do that, what are the building blocks that would be required to achieve those objectives?
I guess one thing that is also relevant to this topic is it's not enough just to identify the programs and execute on them. you really had to build a team and an operating model to really support increasing your capabilities in certain areas and driving operational excellence across the entire business. So why don't you share a little bit about that side of it as well?
Sure. So one of the tools that we've developed, and that's been used, and we used it in another company as well, and it's been very, very useful at Compass, is the commercial operating system. And this is a 5-pillared approach to looking at the commercial side of the business. And it's something that can be used from the initial assessment, from there prioritizing what changes need to be made, and then communicating that up from the executive team to the private equity group, and their feedback coming back down to really tailor a process and to tailor activities, prioritize activities so that we're all on the same page as we move the business forward, all with the mindset of achieving those objectives that we've defined in that transformational journey.
Yeah, that's super powerful. Getting alignment, getting everybody on the same page, and moving forward with one common direction across the organization.
Right, and keeping the communication clear, again, from all different levels within the business.
So Bill, we've talked about some of the key value creation initiatives that ladder back up to the strategic direction. And this is where all the hard work is done to create future value for the business and the future exit. Let's talk about the sales process as one of those key initiatives. But what did that look like when you started?
So coming into the business, there really wasn't a very defined sales process. Essentially, people were not incentivized to close a deal. The quoting phase of it was run through the Excel document. You'd go in, you'd grab a quote number, you'd fill out some information, and then you'd go and work on the quote. And ultimately, hopefully, you'd send it out to the customer. No timing on that or anything like that. So really not any process involved, no tools really provided to the team to make them more efficient, and really not a model around driving performance or even them being able to view how am I performing versus the expectations of the business. So along the theme of how do we make the team more efficient with the people we have, we did some assessments on what works well with the old school process, if you will. Mm-hmm. What do we need to keep in that, and then how do we take that and move it forward? Part of it was instilling within the business a CRM system that actually managed the workflow, what I call on the pre-sale start of the business, or the pre-sale side of the business. So you're entering your opportunity in, you're entering all the customer information into a database that is open to anybody within the business. You're building out the initial part of what that proposal would look like. You're putting an estimate in. So you're building out all of that data that's required, not only for that proposal, but that can help you be more efficient down the road as you build out other proposals potentially for the same customer.
Yeah, that's great, and that's a lot of hard work. But in the end, like, how did the overall sales process improve through all this?
We essentially achieved a 4 times output with the same amount of people that were in the business.
Wow.
So again, we're making them that much more efficient. I think the other thing that was maybe even a bigger piece of it is you're building out that data. And with the data, you can help drive metrics such as leads, how many leads are you getting, RFQs, how many RFQs are coming into the business, quotes, how many quotes are going out to the business, and then ultimately, where the rubber hits the road is how many orders are you pulling in.
Yep.
And now I can capture that, or the business can capture that on an individual basis, so that you can define performance, you can set expectations, and then you can drive those improvements in performance with each individual person on the team.
To our audience out there, there's going to be some leaders saying, great, so you put 4 times the amount of quotes out there, but did effectiveness increase through all this data and through all this process improvement?
Yep, we did increase our close ratio.
Impressive.
Which is great, and part of that is now that you have it in a system, when you send that proposal out to the customer, you can indicate when you need to follow up, and it manages that. And if you're not available, somebody else can go in and look at that record, and they can follow up on it as well. So it greatly improved our close ratio because of that. The other thing it has allowed us to do is, because that data is now available, as we grow in our complexity of marketing, to the different customers in the different markets. We can refine our campaigns, and we have that contact data to send updates to, or to send maybe it's a service brochure or a new product development brochure out to.
That's fascinating. Yeah, increase those touch points across a long sales cycle. It could be multi-year in nature. So Bill, as part of the strategic direction came out of that a lot of value creation initiatives here. And one big one was how the organization could go after existing customers with more share of wallet, and then how the organization can go after acquiring new customers. Let's talk a little bit about what you saw coming into the organization on those two fronts.
Right. So again, for us, efficiency was critical, right? And one of the things we looked at is we're already at some of the largest manufacturers in the world. We're providing these capital equipment solutions to a certain aspect of their process. So we spent a lot of time talking with our customers, asking them where their challenges were, not only maybe with some of our products that we could improve upon, but also where we could help them out, either again upstream in their process or downstream in the process with their material handling or their waste management systems that they use right now.
I'm curious, what did you learn through some of those conversations? Did they give you the permission to kind of work in other areas of the line?
So great conversations for us. It's something I'm very passionate about, listening to the customer, voice of the customer. We learned a lot about what we're doing now, different things that we could tweak with the systems that we're providing. I think the other part of this too that was critical is, again, working with you and your team, developing the TAM-SAM SOM. It helped us prioritize of that total product offering. What should we be going after first across the entire market? And again, that gave us the data, and it gave us the business case to share across the business, again, up and down, but to share with the private equity group to say, hey, here's where we want to go forward with our product development. Here's the market size, and here's the return on that activity.
Let's switch gears to how you guys went after going after new customers with a similar blueprint here.
Sure. From our side, again, with the work we do on the engineering side of the business and the activities we have with other integrators in the marketplace, and where we really wanted to grow, in one case, into a new market, which is a waste-to-energy market, we were able to quickly gather what was needed for what we could provide within that market. So that was a new market expansion for us, something where, because of the relationships we had with the other integrators, we were able to quickly step into that market, quickly provide solutions for not only their pilot plants, but also their production plants. And it's been a great avenue for us now in an engineered solution for a market that's not only growing now, but will continue to grow for years down the road.
Yeah, fascinating. A lot of tailwinds behind that market.
Very much so, yep.
Bill, some phenomenal accomplishments. I think you should be proud of yourself and your entire team for coming as far as you have over the last 3 years. But moving forward, you guys are in the next part of your evolution here. So share with us a little bit about what you're thinking moving forward.
So James, we're in our second hold cycle now. And part of our challenge will be working with that private equity group to better understand what their objectives are. We think we've still got a pretty solid strategy. We may have to tweak it a bit based upon that. But I also think based upon the work that everybody has done, the work and the continued work we'll do with you and your team, we've got the processes in place. We've got a good vision into the markets we're at and the markets where we want to grow to be able to double our business within 3 to 5 years.
Yeah, and you've got such a strong foundation here that you can recruit a great team, and they're coming into an operating model and a system on how they can actually operate within the organization. A lot cleaner today than it was before.
Yeah, and I think you're exactly right. And the critical piece to that is, as you build these out, you're able to bring people in and scale the right things about the processes that have grown the business to where it's at.
Yeah.
And people can take different aspects of whether it's that understanding of that solution or that marketplace, and be able to, again, scale that out and continually drive that growth within the business.
So Bill, I got to ask, we helped with a lot of different aspects of your transformation at Compass Systems and Sales. What was it like engaging with the team here, and what did you find valuable?
The nice thing about you and your team is you do offer the full product offering, from consulting services through more typical marketing services. So for us, and for myself, coming into a business where, again, part of it is just developing the strategy, you provide the services of, let's have that conversation around what is a strategic plan? What is your mission for the business? What is your vision? And I think it's big not only from your experience, but your ability to bring a larger group of people into a room and manage those conversations from a consultative standpoint to get the team to buy into a single message and then carrying that message moving forward. One of the most important things that I see that Dorn brings to the table, especially with the markets of the businesses that I'm involved with, is you guys are a B2B industrial marketing guru, which is not that easy to find these days. You understand that industrial side of the business. You understand the equipment that's typically used in that, the jargon that's used. So you're a very quick study in coming into a business and learning what the products are, what the solutions are, which is very helpful in explaining the business and talking through where we want to go, maybe some markets we want to look at. So that's been huge.
Yeah, that's great. And Bill, I got to say, it's been an absolute pleasure working with you. So thank you for everything. Looking forward to working some more together and capturing some larger growth here.
Likewise, and you've been a big part of the growth. Everything you guys have provided for the business, and in a disciplined manner, and trying to keep us focused has been a big part of our success as well.
Well, we're having a lot of fun doing it and looking forward to seeing some more of it.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Bill.